childhood versus adulthood. When you're younger, you want nothing more than to be grown up. For some reason, people were always putting adulthood on some pedestal that it did not deserve. I mean, think of it. When you're younger, you have very little responsibilities. But then when you're an adult, you gotta worry about a bunch of different things like taxes, work, having kids, the bill collector coming to your door. Childhood is pretty much just a life-free trial. You don't have to worry about much. At the time, it did feel like I had a lot on my plate. Like, I had to go to school, and then I had to come home and, play on my Wii. Yeah, society. But then you become an adult, and yeah, bro, it's pretty much game over from there. You're telling me I have to buy my own groceries and then make my own food? I help buy groceries for my entire family right now, and as some of you may know, inflation in the US and in Canada is really bad right now. So those grocery trips are extremely expensive. Dude, if it was up to me, we would be living off of nothing but Dino Nuggets and Hot Pockets. You also gotta go to work to pay off bills. The thing I didn't realize when I was younger is that everything cost money. You gotta pay for an abundance of different things like food, gas, water, electricity. Eventually, you have to pay for rent too. And if by this point time passes and you want to start a family of your own, your wallet is going to be begging you not to, because that's going to cost you even more. The older I get in life, the more respect I have for my parents, because somehow in their mid-20s, they already had a kid and most of their shit together. My mom had me when she was 22 years old. That is a moment that changes your life forever. Dedicating the next 18 years of your life just 12 months after you're able to legally buy a Miller Lite. That is such an impressive thing to do. Meanwhile, I'm here, turning 20 in about 5 days, and I ate instant oatmeal and Sun Chips for dinner 3 days ago. Now that I'm almost the same age that they were, I just can't help but feel like a complete dickhead for all the times I disrespected them for absolutely no reason. So when it comes to responsibilities, I definitely think being a kid is better in this case. Now, when you're a kid, you also have a lot of restrictions. Like, bro, you're always getting told what to do and when to do it. Like, sometimes I would be playing games on my Xbox and my dad would come in the room and be like, turn off the video games. Well, shit, I guess I'm turning off the video games. Who am I to tell him no? You also have to go to school at a certain time. You have to do homework. Essentially, you gotta follow a routine with certain things. But when you're an adult, you don't have to worry about really any of that. I'm able to now do whatever I want. When you're an adult, you're then in charge of your own life. You can also choose any career path you want. You can be a doctor, a lawyer, an animator. When I was younger, I wasn't allowed to play video games for hours on end. But now that I'm older, dude, I'm able to play video games all day if I want. In this day and age, you can really make money doing pretty much anything. And I mean anything. Dude, some girl is set for life for simply saying Hawk Tua, and now she's a multi-millionaire. Like, bro, be so for real with me right now. Are you telling me that the majority of the world has to go into an office job, work a 9 to 5, just to maybe have a good, okay retirement? Meanwhile, we are letting people get away with this and coast away with life? You just gotta come up with a simple catchphrase? Well, this is my catchphrase. You can also go wherever you want, whenever you want. If you want to go to Walmart and buy a package of Oreos at 3 in the morning, you can do that. Nobody is stopping you. If you want to do nothing but eat Dino Nuggets and Hot Pockets for dinner for the rest of your life, you're allowed to do that. My point here is being that you can do pretty much whatever you want. Obviously, there's still some restrictions in place, like financially or the law, but hey, man, it's totally worth it. Now, when it comes to emotions, anything that would happen that would make me slightly angry as a kid would just completely ruin the rest of my day. I remember one time I went to Dairy Queen with my family, and right as I was finishing my ice cream cone, I dropped it. Now, obviously, I wasn't the most joyful person on planet Earth, but I remember the next day I woke up and I was still equally as angry. Now, if you think emotions when you're really young are bad, just wait until you hit puberty. When you hit puberty, your emotions are all over the place. In my case, it was really weird because one second I would be having the greatest time of my life, and then the next second I would be completely miserable and want nothing more than to crawl into a hole. I never really had my own proper emo phase. I know a lot of people did. Instead, I just had really awkward phases. When I was 13 years old, I would talk to my crush in a deep voice only. I thought I sounded so cool at the time. I'd be walking up to her, puffing out my chest, and then I'd be like, "Hey girl, how are you?" And then I would walk away all confident, thinking I was so cool, as if I did anything other than just completely embarrass myself in front of everybody. When you're younger, you think that you're so much more mature than you actually are. I remember when I was younger, I convinced my parents to let me watch this one movie so bad, but they kept telling me no because I wasn't old enough to watch it. It was a horror movie, and I remember a couple days later, I told my grandpa that I wanted to watch it, and he said, "Of course I will put it on for you." And for the next 3 weeks, I was completely traumatized about what I had seen in that horror movie. I was sleeping with my lights on for a pretty long time after that. The older you get, the more you learn to control your emotions. For example, if somebody comes up to me and calls me an idiot on the street, instead of throwing a fit or letting it ruin my day like I would when I was younger, no, I just brush it off and continue on with my day. The final thing we're talking about is activities. Provided you're not too restricted, you can really do anything you want when you're younger. What, your one and only responsibility is unloading the dishwasher and going to school, but then you have the rest of the day to yourself. You can go hang out with friends, you could go for a bike ride, you could play video games. Again, as long as your parents are allowing to let you do it and you have friends, you most definitely have the time to do it. When I was in my teenage years, I had very little responsibilities. All I had to do was go to school, and I had the rest of the day to myself, so I would play on my Xbox with my friends until it was nighttime. There were a bunch of other activities that I had in my childhood too, like I was on the soccer team, so every Tuesday I would go and play a game. Or sleepovers. Sleepovers, I'm pretty sure for most people watching this video, is something that you've participated in, and it's a really fun thing. You get together with your friends, you watch movies or play video games, then you wake up the next morning and you have like cereal or pancakes for breakfast, and it would always hit. I don't know, man, those are just unbeatable. But when you become an adult, you can't really do all of those things, at least as often. I'm not going to sit here and say that childhood is better than adulthood or vice versa. Honestly, I think they're both equally as good. Childhood definitely has quite a fair amount of perks, but at the same time, adulthood does as well. I know this is going to sound so unbelievably corny and kind of defeat the purpose of this video. I feel like they are both perfectly equal when it comes to perks, and honestly, I think you should just coast through life and enjoy every moment. I got this video idea from Birdie. I highly recommend you check out his video. It is so good. With all that being said, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. Thank you guys so much for the support. I love you all, and yeah, bye. I looked at you and said, to hate me, am I crazy? So tenderly, you watch me burn, oh. So tell me, am I crazy?